Carbs makes up a large proportion of our daily meals. So, how to consume carbs safely, and which is healthier for regular consumption? White or whole grain? Stay tuned to find out. Be it whole grain, multigrain, or wholemeal bread, white flour can make up 70% of the recipes, according to reliable sources. A pure wholesome bread is generally a failure commercially, for its shorter shelf life, and much unfavorable texture, which is harder and dry. In other words, pure wholesome is less palatable, hence, less saleable commercially. Adding white flour to the bread improves the texture and palatability of the final products. For business purposes, a pure whole grain is less readily available in stores. Just in case you don't know, bread is categorized under ultra-processed foods, or so-called superfoods. By nature, all ultra-processed foods and beverages, by definition, are linked to certain health hazards. Bread, falling under the superfood category, is not exempted, in terms of health risks, be it whole grain, or sprouted grain. Although the wholesome, and Ezekiel, cost much more than white in general, and claim to be more nutrient-packed. Undoubtedly, humans see grain as a natural food, therefore, the grain must be healthier. The grain-enriched breads are believed to contain more fibers and nutrient-dense. Sadly, the idea of wholesome is healthy is mainly derived scientifically by lower hierarchy of evidence, in the form of surveys or questionnaires. Even if they were evidence from higher quality, placebo-based randomized controlled trials, most trials are industry-sponsored. With that said, the quality of research evidence becomes questionable in the presence of sponsorship bias. Ironically, public mentality sees wholesome as natural food products with better nutritional value, hence, it must be a healthier or better choice. Therefore, they must be great for health. There is such a term called health washing. It literally means giving certain claims to foods that are not necessarily true health information for the purpose of secondary gain. Come on, you need to have a marketing strategy to survive in the business world. Wholesome is traditionally claimed to be fiber-rich, but in actual fact, it's negligible in fiber content for health benefits. In terms of glycemic index, white is just marginally higher than Ezekiel and whole grain. In case you don't know, glycemic index refers to the ability of a given food to spike blood sugar after consumption. For bread lovers, be mindful when you're told that it's safe in terms of sugar spike by substituting white with wholemeal. In essence, both white and wholesome are equally bad for pre-diabetes or diabetes in terms of sugar control and diabetes-related health complications. One may argue, then a pure multigrain is surely a healthier choice. It's not as simple as one thinks, unfortunately. No matter how pure a wholesome bread is, the health issues generated from the wheat grains are medically significant and undeniable. By nature, the grains are rich in anti-nutrient factors, called phytate. The phytates block the ability of the body to uptake certain nutrients, leading to nutritional deficiency. So, it's basically pointless to have nutrient-enriched bread that is not readily accessible by the body. Ironically, it's senseless to pay extra for wholesome, yet to get a more expensive bread that has nutritional value which is on par with white bread. Besides, the gluten component in the grain is medically associated with serious health issues, such as carbs craving, secondary to endorphin-stimulating effect, abdominal bloating, and gastric reflux, as well as nutritional deficiency and mental disorders due to celiac disease and non-celiac gluten sensitivity-related malabsorption and inflammation. Last but not least, autoimmune diseases, such as thyroiditis, dermatitis, and psoriasis, secondary to leaky gut syndrome. In addition to the natural harm from the grain by itself, the extra health risk imparted as a result of being industrially ultra-processed is undeniable. The added additives, such as coloring, sweeteners, fructose syrup, anti-mold factors, conditioners, or glyphosate, during the process of bread production, poses extra health risks to the human. By definition, any food categorized as ultra-processed has the following elements to consider, namely profitable, by the standard of business world, possibly lower grade of ingredients used, additives enriched, to enhance longevity and palatability, moving away from natural whole foods, the way they're supposed to appear in nature. By nature, humans' body machinery is not designed or being adapted to take care of ultra-processed foods. Eating excessive processed foods tend to cause confusion to the body machinery in the way how the foods are metabolized, leading to negative health impacts, such as overeating, hence, overweight. Eating whole foods that are close to nature and readily available in caveman era remains the best and healthiest in terms of keeping the body weight in check, even without calorie counting. By the way, calorie counting does not save the trouble of weight gain unless insulin resistance is kept in check. White rice versus brown rice. Now what? The preconceived idea that brown rice must be healthier, as it's minimally processed, hence, the brown must be nutritionally better preserved by nature. Well, you may be partially right, in terms of better nutritional value. Here's why. Just like wholesome bread, brown rice also contains nutrient blockers, phytates. The phytates, unfortunately, remove the nutrients of foods consumed with brown rice, by a process called chelation. For this reason, brown may not necessarily be superior to white nutritionally, unless phytates are removed, leaving other nutrients intact. A renowned Asian leader had once quoted that, choosing brown over white when eating rice, as eating white is literally seen as eating sugar. Beware of the false sense that brown is being interpreted as a safer choice in glycemic index, in particular for diabetes and prediabetes. Though brown rice's glycemic index is somewhat better than white, a regular consumption of brown rice makes very marginally different from the viewpoint of improved diabetic control. Unfortunately, in case you're not aware of it, brown rice has higher calories per gram than white. If you're very particular about food calorie counting, white is surely a better choice for you. Fortunately, calorie counting has minimal impact on insulin resistance. A word of caution in terms of arsenic poisoning. Being minimally processed, brown retains its external shield that may contain arsenic. Arsenic is a free radical that causes health hazards by disrupting normal metabolism inside mitochondria, an energy factory of a cell. How about pasta and potatoes, better than bread? Huh? In terms of glycemic index, pasta is equally as bad as bread, but cooked potatoes, or instant potatoes, are far worse in blood sugar spikes. Sweet potatoes are 3-fold higher in sugar content compared to regular potatoes. It's worth noting that potatoes cause an instant blood sugar spike, which is delayed by 2 to 3 hours when taking bread or pasta. Final message: all carbs are the same as far as health risks are concerned. In terms of blood sugar spikes, none is superior to others, in particular diabetics or pre-diabetics. Well, it's scientifically proven that taking carbs after fat or protein meals help alleviate worrisome blood sugar spikes. Do consider this smart strategy if carbs are not readily avoidable in your daily meals, in particular if you are diabetics or pre-diabetics.